What's up, fight fans? Welcome to episode 64 of the Hooks In MMA podcast. We've been off for a little bit, but we're happy to be back with you. We've got a great episode this week. We're joined by Brent Primus. He's coming off a big win at Bellator last weekend over Benson Henderson. Zone's going to tell us a little bit more about that. And looking ahead to a few big pay-per-views coming up in the next few weeks. But this week in front of us here, we've got a fight night, Vettori versus Costa. We're going to be breaking down some of those best bets and sharing some winners with you. Zoni, why don't you kick off hot headline news and we'll get right into this week's action.
Yeah, so Brent Primus, I talked to him last week. I tried to talk with him a few times in the last little while, but he's a busy guy because he does a lot of traveling for his training camps. He drives I think he said 2 or 4 hours, multiple times per week to get in some good training with some really good MMA fighters. So if you don't remember him, he obviously is part of Bellator. He's one of the first people that really beat someone with calf kicks and deadened the leg of Michael Chandler. Chandler tried to stand up multiple times, kept falling down, and he ended up finishing Chandler because of that. We see that a lot more common in the UFC now. Sean O'Malley, those types of guys. So that was a big win. He ended up losing against Chandler a little bit later on. But he has a great resume, and he was really looking forward to fighting Benson Henderson because of the name, what he's done in the sport. And he said he's going to go out there and absolutely crush him, which he did. He fought fantastic. And the interesting thing about this is, so Pitbull relinquished his 155 title so that his brother Patrik could fight for the title. So Patricky's fighting for the title coming up here against Peter Quayle, I believe. And now Primus has put himself in a perfect position. He's the #1 contender. He's going to get the winner of that. And he's got a chance to be a world champion against either Patrik or Quayle. So, the guy's done a lot of good things in the sport. Doesn't have a ton of fights in his career, Primus, but he's capitalized in the last couple of years here and really put himself on the map. So looking forward to seeing him fight for a title, which will be cool.
Beautiful. Couple big bouts were announced recently. Z, why don't you break down some of those and we'll talk about maybe some implications that they could bring.
Yeah, one of the biggest kind of most recent one announced there was a very excellent welterweight fight between Leon Edwards and Jorge Masvidal, both coming up. Well, actually, Masvidal coming off of the loss, obviously. Edwards coming off a win over Nate Diaz. Interestingly enough, I don't know if anyone kind of noticed this, but after that fight was announced, I kind of went back and took a look at both their previous fights, and they both actually got hurt but Masvidal got knocked out, right? Basically TK'd out or KO'd by a 1-2 combo that he was trying to check hook with, and Nate Diaz landed the exact same 1-2 on Edwards. I think it was the end of the 4th round there. That almost did wobble him extremely badly, almost ended him. If Nate had been a little bit more aggressive, let's say a little bit less showboaty, he might have been able to actually finish him there. But I wonder, it's very good. Well, obviously it's going to be a very dramatic fight. I think everyone remembers Jorge Masvidal giving him the 3-piece combo there or whatever backstage, straight WWE style. Back, I think it was in England fight as well. It's going to be extremely exciting. I wonder what both those guys are going to be thinking though when they see those combos, right? When they go by, obviously they've already gone back and watched the video already, I'm sure many times themselves. And are they going to be able to use that to their advantage? Are one of them going to be able to kind of use that same weapon that was used on themselves against their opponent? So I think that's truly one of the most exciting fights kind of coming up for me.
Yeah, just to touch on that, sorry, Kronz, they have told, I guess, Leon, off to the side, if he wins this, he'll get the next title shot, which kind of makes sense, even though, there's kind of been a back and forth battle between him and the UFC for a while about which fights he wants to take. And either way, it's going to be a great fight. Masvidal's already, planting seeds. He said earlier this week, "Oh, I bet you Leon's just gonna throw a couple punches and run away scared," which Leon's really smart, and he does throw punches and gets out of there quick and uses his range. So is he trying to bait him by basically calling him, scared for getting in and getting out and running away? I don't think Leon will fall for that, to be honest. But either way, it's a great fight, and I'm excited to see it too.
Awesome. I know Z was talking before the show, Francis versus Gon has been set for UFC 270 at the Honda Center in California there, January 22nd. What do you guys think is like your early prediction, and what do you think might be next for either the loser or the winner after that?
Well, this is really going to be the ultimate matchup, I think, for heavyweight. This is truly a very exciting fight. You have a technical, one of the most technical fighter, probably maybe ever in the heavyweight division, going up probably the most scariest, most powerful puncher in the heavyweight division. So it's truly going to be a clash of styles, and they're of course they're both stand-up guys, right? So it's going to be a clash of kind of those stand-up styles. That's going to lead to, I think, some great, interesting exchanges between those two. So I think that's great for the fans, and it's going to be a very interesting fight to see kind of who comes out on top there. Cyril Gane, I mean, very fast up and comer, but Ngannou was the same way. He came out extremely fast. You're able to do that in this heavyweight division because it's a little bit more of a shallow division at this point. So it's a great, exciting fight between two guys that are definitely for sure the top of that division at this point.
Yeah, a fantastic matchup. Gane's he climbed the ladder a lot quicker than I thought he would. I knew he would get to this point. I just didn't think it would be this quick. So a couple things, and Ngannou says, this matchup doesn't excite me as much as the Jones one, obviously because of what Jones has done in his career and who he is. Obviously, he's going to be on the shelf for a little while. Not sure what's going to happen with him, with legal stuff. And on the flip side, Miocic is kind of sitting there on the side. He really only wants the title fight. I think if Ngannou wins this, I really do believe there could be a matchup with Tyson Fury. I think that might match up for him time-wise, boxing. And you know what? It's a huge money fight, and Ngannou's talked about not really making the kind of money that he thinks he should be making for who he is. The exciting matchup, I know Kronz will agree with this, is Derek Lewis and Chris Daukaus. Daukaus has been on fire, murdering people. If he ends up finishing Derek Lewis, that's 5 in a row, 5 finishes for him. You can book him, as a number 1 contender against somebody like Curtis Blades or maybe Miocic. I don't know if Miocic would take that fight, but so there's a couple guys up there kind of vying for position. But the Gane and Ngannou fight is fantastic. Z, I couldn't have said it better, just in terms of the technicality stuff and the power and the frightness of who Ngannou is. So pumped for that one.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna be sitting on the edge of our seats for that one at the entire time for sure. Like, will Francis be able to catch him those first kind of 5 minutes? Is a big question. So I think it's if Gane can get past those first 5-7 minutes, he's got an excellent chance. But that's going to be the true test there. The other one I was going to say too, well, that and November 6th pay-per-view, like that is like with Gaethje and Chandler is the most guaranteed like bloody like just fight that's going to have like there's going to be a finish. There's absolutely, you can tell you right, easy lines, guaranteed finish there. Under 3 rounds, 100%. We're going under. We'll see. I don't even know if they have the odds out on that yet, but that one's an absolute killer. Usman and Covington. I mean, it is a rematch, but we haven't seen Covington. I don't think we've even seen Covington since this rematch, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there as well. And then, of course, Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang. These are all just fights that could end in absolute finishes. So I think that's a great line to see. Of course, Edgar going against Marlon Vera. But I think that one, and then I think what's the next week one? I think we got Peter Young, Corey Sandhagen.
Oh yeah.
Teixeira, Blachowicz, right? So these next couple of weeks for UFC, guys, if you haven't been watching the last couple of events, that's fine, that's cool. We forgive you. But these next 3 weeks, please, you have to watch them. You have to watch these fights because these ones are really setting up the 2022, the landscape of all of these divisions. So it's going to be really entertaining.
Yeah, get that suicide rope out for next weekend.
Yeah. Covington did get one win after I thought he did. I was just checking. He beat Woodley. He dominated him in that fight. But, I mean, yes. Where Woodley was at in his career, like this is why I get a little bit upset at like Covington beating Woodley. Okay, that's great. He dominated him, but Woodley's not Woodley like he used to be. Like he gets an immediate title shot. That kind of stuff bothers me. But anyways, it is what it is. But yeah, next weekend for me, Jan and Sandhagen's unbelievable. And I really, really am excited for Chimaev's return to see how he does against a guy like Li Jingliang. And the one before that, it looks like it's a 6-fight main card, which is amazing. Ankalaev and Uzdemir, that'll be fire as well.
Totally. Yeah, and I just realized Cannonier Brunson was booked again.
Yes.
On that Nagano card, with also another really good rematch, Moreno and Figueiredo. So
yes.
Pretty cool. And then Greg Hardy and Oleinik are also. So that one's shaping up to be a hell of an event mid-January. And even you look at some of the fight night sandwich in between, you mentioned the Lewis Dawkins, but then Calvin Kattar's back in there versus Giga.
Yeah, they don't feed Qatar bums, that's for sure.
No, like the guy's face is going to be ground beef in a few years here. But yeah, and then you got Charlie Olives and Poirier coming up in December, so like that's a great one. Cody Garbrandt was just booked, right, versus Kai Kara France. So I mean,
is that the December 11th card, Franz? Because that one I remember is fantastic.
That's the Edwards Masvidal as well. Sean O'Malley versus Paiva.
Ridiculous.
Nunez, Pena, like unreal. So Duplessis is also on that card.
Duplessis.
Dominic Cruz versus Munoz is on that one. It's pretty good.
Alex Perez just fought for the flyweight title not too long ago. Matt Schnell, Ryan Hall, Derek Minner is going to be an unreal fight. Like disgusting.
Yeah. So great time to be an MMA fan, and we've got a lot to look forward to. So all the more reason to be tuning into our future episodes. You can get ahead of that book. I think it's about time to get into the Costa Vettori. Some recent hot headline news in that headline fight for Saturday night. Z, why don't you kick things off and we can start chirping Costa here?
Yeah. Well, let's hope he's not on the wine diet again this time, although it does seem like he is. I just saw the headline there that he's coming in overweight, I guess. I didn't get to look too much into it, but Zone, can you give us a few more details on that? What's going on?
Yeah, there? I don't know him a whole lot more than you, but I know he said he's at 211 pounds right now, and he just reached out saying he hopes that they'll change it from a middleweight bout that's 3 days from now to a catch weight. Like just insanely inconsiderate, unprofessional, and the guy just pisses me off every time I hear him speak about anything. He has excuses for everything, and a guy he's fighting that's one of the toughest in the division, who's always on weight and who's professional, now has to hear this. Like the guy I'm fighting in 3 days before, he's saying, let's have a catch weight. That's not fair to him. But what if he's getting down to 185 and it's, a tough grind? That's not fair. So we'll see. Maybe, I don't know what's going to happen, because Vettori has to accept that, or they just do the weigh-ins and he misses weight and then he takes the purse and then maybe accepts that. That's the route I would go. I wouldn't just say, yeah, sure, let's do a catch weight. At least make him pay for it and get the money from his purse. But I still expect the fight to happen. So,
well, how about this theory, Zone? Like we saw this a couple of weeks ago as he came down for it, the Diaz-Lawler fight. It was almost similar timeframes, midweek of fight week. Diaz is like, I'm not going to get there. Can we go catch? Lawler says, sure. So I'm speculating to think maybe Costa did have an injury. Maybe he had a lower body thing where his cardio just wasn't possible to get down in time. I don't know, but
it's possible.
I think for betting, I'm going to go even heavier on Vettori now. I think he's going to come in with a little bit of a fire in his belly if he already didn't.
Possibly even like a TKO or I might even go on a
Yes.
finish because he's going to want to murder him. Like,
Yep.
ground and pound him. And
I don't think it's going 5. I really don't. So, I mean, I'll let Z talk a little more on his picks and that. But yeah, just from that recent news, I'm getting the inkling like this.
Before the news, I would have said Vettori by decision, but I don't know. Now I'm leaning because he's going to be pissed.
Yep.
So we'll see. But yeah, go ahead, Z's.
Yeah, no, I mean, just to give a pretty brief breakdown of it, obviously Vettori is the favorite, -170, Costa +140. Probably get in on that while you can, because that's going to start changing once this news starts getting out a little bit more about the whole weight cut situation. And, Costa's coming off a loss to Adesanya, right, and for the championship belt. So you never really know where a guy stands at that point, right? In terms of mentally, that was his first loss, right? As I said. So how's it going to come into this fight? It's a big question. Vettori, on the other hand, coming off a big, I think a solid win, right? And I think it was over Kevin Holland, right? Was his last win, Vettori?
Yeah, 5-round decision.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, and I think he had another one up previous to that as well against someone. But anyways, he's more of a grinder, as we know, right? He's much more the guy he has a hell of a chin. Just when, most guys, when you have in a certain type of choke or a certain type of position, even the best guys, they're going to give up. Vettori, he's not one of those guys. He will keep going. He's an absolute workhorse. You can tell even in his training videos. You can tell when he's in the gym. He's repping all different types of wrestling moves and just different entries and all these things, all different things. So he's an absolute workhorse, and I think he does get. I agree with Kron. Certainly, he's going to get the win. The question is, how is that going to happen? Certainly, the decision might be a little bit of the safer route at this point, but these numbers are moving in front of my eyes. Actually, to be honest, even an hour ago, Costa was like a +600 decision. Now it's a +500. It seems like their money might be coming down a little bit on Costa right now, which is kind of weird because he was at a +300 to finish. Now he's at a +250. Vettori by decision +187. Finish +210. So there's a lot of choices to be made there. I think Vettori finished +210. There's quite a bit of value there. And we're looking at a late one, right? We're looking at 3rd or 4th round here. 4th round, 25 +2,500. I mean, excellent value bet in my opinion. If you want to go 3rd round, yeah, exactly. For those odds, that's ridiculous. And it could be end of the 3rd round +1,200. You could go on both, obviously.
Pretty good odds. I like those.
Yeah. Like for
as Yanni the Greek says, I might sprinkle a little on there.
You got to sprinkle a little on there, I think, at this point, right? As we said, with Costa coming in overweight, and he's never been. He obviously is. He always, even when he's underweight, when he's on par with weight, he's gassing by the end of the 2nd round every time because he's a ton of volume. So basically, if Vettori lasts the first 7 minutes, again, first round, and then halfway through the 2nd round for sure, then I think he's got the win somewhere or the other, right? So let's go Vettori. Certainly -170. If you want to parlay it with a few things, but by that finish +210, take that and put a couple units on that one.
I was going to say, if I was Costa, if he ends up losing this fight, I'd consider the move up to light heavyweight. I mean, with that division, he could use his speed. He'd be a little bit smaller than some of the guys, but he actually is pretty big. I think that's his best bet. Like he's never going to beat a guy like Adesanya with his movement. If he loses to a guy like Vettori, even though Vettori is awesome, like I just don't see it working out for him at 185 in terms of getting back to a title shot. I mean, he could win a few and get there, but he might consider a move to 205, or I would suggest that for him. I know Tanner Bozer wouldn't like to hear that about dropping to 205, but
Yeah, actually, I like that idea a lot. Like depending on what exactly is going with this whole weight cut right now, like Kron said, if it's an injury, then maybe try 185 again. But if 185 is just too hard for him to make anymore, that yeah, I like him. I like him as like he's a bit of a smaller but the speedier guy. But he has fast hands already as well. So at 205, he's going to be catching people, I think.
I think so.
He won't be knocking them out clean or something like that, but he will be catching them and TKOing them. So yeah, no, actually I like that idea a lot. If he's truly having a hard time kind of making right now, he didn't do anything stupid for this weight cut, but we'll see. But yeah, that's basically the only one I had that like any kind of insight into. What are you guys thinking for the rest of the card?
Franz, do you want to go first?
Yeah, just the co-main, just to kind of maybe go in order. Really wanted to touch on. So, Grant Dawson, 17-1, 155, or I just think is a force. I think that it's kind of scary, minus 400 to take, but I'm going to throw him in a few parlays. But I think he is one of the locks of the night. I'm going to go on decision. That's plus 125. So just over double your money. But I think it's got a very good chance at happening only because Ricky Glenn, who he's facing, has a very impressive resume, is a veteran. And I just think he's going to be cautious and respect Dawson's power to, go the distance and go to the scorecard. So from my understanding, Dawson is a very good wrestler. I think he takes him down, just owns that kind of octagon control and wins 30-27. So that would be my, I guess, lock of the night would be, Dawson by money line or by decision. You can go next, Oni.
Yeah, no, I agree with your choice there for sure. Rick Glenn is a veteran, and he's like a skinnier, rangier type of fighter, whereas Dawson's like that thick wrestling base type. And I actually like your assessment for sure. That looks to me like it might be how the 15 minutes goes. Should be a good fight though. I'm not exactly going in order here, but the first fight of the night, well, now it's the second fight of the night because there's been some additions, late additions to the card, which we'll touch on quickly. But Ronda Marcos, the Canadian, she's kind of one of those people that, if you look at her resume, so she's 1-5 in her last 6, which you wonder how she's still employed. But some of the names on her resume, I mean, you can't even fault her. She probably accepts these fights, and the UFC respects her so much because of it. Just throwing out a few names here. Carla Esparza, probably the #1 contender. If not, she's also fought Marina Rodriguez. Amanda Nunez's wife, Nina Nunez, she's fought Alexa Grasso, Angela Hill, Claudia Gadelia, Amanda Ribas, Mackenzie Dern. Like, these are all like the top dogs. So now she gets a girl that we've actually had on the podcast here, but just nowhere near the resume. She's 14-3 record, but Ronda's fought everybody. And I think she finally gets back in the win column. Like she finally has a girl on the other side that's not a huge favorite over her. And the betting line on that is plus 110 for Marcos. Not by decision, not by finish, just straight up money line, plus 110. I really like her to bounce back and get a W. And that'll even her record to 500, which you don't normally see in the UFC. But like I said, quality of competition is definitely high.
Beauty. Just maybe one value pick, Alex Caceres. He's squaring off against Sung Woo Choi. Choi's a heavy favorite. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe I'm missing something, but he's close to minus 300. And I think whenever you're getting plus 200 and above on the underdog and they have a legit chance at winning, you might as well bet on it because we all know UFC's so unpredictable at times. And I don't know, Caceres has looked really good in his last few outings. I've actually been betting against him and losing, and maybe that's why it's stuck in my mind that he's better than what I think he is, and maybe just better than the public thinks he is. So I think there is value there. And I'm going to throw some on Alex there, money line. So let's hope it comes true.
Yeah, good luck for that. I'll probably do the same, sprinkle a little. I just wanted to mention quick, So unfortunate, I think, for Mason Jones. This guy's going to be, he's a team alpha male guy now. He's from Wales, huge, prospect in the UFC. He fought Alan Patrick last, and he was absolutely decimating him. And then there was an eye poke, and then they canceled, or sorry, they stopped it due to no contest. They rebooked it for this card, and Patrick had to drop out. UFC just signed 8-0 David Anama, and this guy's an absolute savage. He's undefeated amateur and undefeated pro. I feel bad, not that Mason Jones can't get this win, but this is a totally different opponent than he was supposed to fight. He was gonna absolutely kill Patrick again this time, and now it's a late notice guy with who's very dangerous. So just in terms of possible fight of the night candidates, that'll be one. And just wanted to mention one more, Zviad Lazishvili, another Georgian, 12-0, 135er. You know about Merab Davalishvili, and this guy is also a killer as well. So he's going to open up the card. Another guy to watch coming in, another huge prospect, potentially on the rise. So I'm really excited for a couple of those fights. That'll be great matchups.
Amazing. Well, best of luck to our fans who are tuning in. Make sure to tune in next week for episode 65. We got the big pay-per-view coming up. So we're going to be doing our research between now and then. And yeah, we'll see you at the cashier.
Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have 10-2 lightweight. He's got a big fight coming up on October 16th. Brent Primus, how's it going today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. We appreciate your time. So just speak to, where you grew up, what got you into MMA?
Yeah, I'm from Eugene, Oregon. I've grown up here my whole life, and I was a big soccer player. I played soccer my whole life, and when I first saw MMA, I was like, man, that stuff's crazy. I don't think I'd ever do that, and I also had kind of a different upbringing. I got kicked out of my house when I was like 13 years old, and I had my own house when I was 14, and kind of lived a crazy time, and I was getting in street fights every single weekend at college parties, and I was 16 years old getting in fights and knocking dudes out every weekend. And one of my buddies was like, man, if you're going to be doing this, you should be getting paid. And so he signed me up for a cage fight, and I didn't have any training. And I remember I just went in there and pretty much just did a street fight and knocked him out in a couple seconds. And then it all went from there, and then I went to a jiu-jitsu gym, and I remember thinking, man, I'm going to go beat the crap out of all these guys. And I just got my butt handed to me, got choked, and got beat up so bad. I was like, oh my God. And so I fell in love with it and started training 24/7 as much as I could, and competed in every single jiu-jitsu tournament I could. And here I am, man. It's crazy.
So I just wanted to bring up later on in my life, I played rugby all my life, but I just started playing soccer the last 4 or 5 years. And I found it tough to transition to a sport where there's less contact. So now I'm getting the cards and all that stuff, because you're bringing over the mentality of full contact, right? So were you getting cards and yellows and reds and all that stuff when you're playing soccer?
Yeah, for sure. I was definitely didn't take much on the field, and I love the slide tackle, and I was definitely a little bit more physical than a lot of the other kids, and I grew up with my older brother, and we beat each other up every single day, like fighting. My mom did not like it, but it definitely made me who I am and made me a tough kid for sure.
Yeah, and it's good playing multiple sports. A lot of transferable stuff, which obviously it's showed out in your fighting. So just speak to who's in your corner for your upcoming fight, and the gym you're currently training out of. I know you talked about going to a few different ones.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Eugene, and I drive 2 hours 4 or 5 days a week to American Top Team Portland, and Fabiano Scherner. He's an amazing practitioner of jiu-jitsu. He's my professor, and he's my cornerman. Then I also fly to Irvine, California, and train with Timo Yama. And so Coach Yama is going to be my corner. And then I also have one of my buddies that I've been training with and hitting mitts and Thai pads with for like 10 years, Mo'i, and he's from Hawaii, and he's going to be my other cornerman.
Awesome. Yeah, and then obviously, you know, most people know if they follow the sport, you split wins and losses with Michael Chandler. How did it feel to be in there with him for a couple times?
It was great, man. It was great. He's a beast, you know, and I think I learned a lot and definitely gained some confidence, you know, going in there and throwing down with him and going 5 rounds and finishing him once. And I feel great. You know, I think our last fight, you know, he beat me our last fight, but he didn't want to stand up with me. I think he was scared of my stand up. So he just took me down as soon as he could and just tried to ground and pound me, lay on me. And so I feel like, I mean, it's a good learning experience and definitely I learned a lot for sure. And it's going to be hard to, you know, I know like Benson Hender's a tough guy. Benson's a tough guy. He's a vet, but I don't think he has that explosiveness, that power that Chandler brings, you know? So I feel good, man. I know Benson's a vet. He's really experienced. And he's really athletic, but man, I'm going to be ready for him. And I am ready for him, man. I cannot wait. I'm so excited for this fight. This is like the first fight that I've signed since Michael Chandler that I'm actually excited about and motivated. And it's going to be an awesome, fast-paced war, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, we can't wait either. You should be on a 4-fight winning streak after that last fight. Just speak to that. I mean, obviously, you know, when it goes in the hands of the judges, you never know, but really believe you won that fight. Do you believe the same?
100%, man. Like after that fight, I had all the guys from Bellator. I've had all the media tell me that I got robbed. And I know it wasn't the most exciting fight, but Islam, it's hard to fight somebody when they're not wanting to fight you. You know, he was like, he wasn't trying to advance positions on me. He wasn't even trying to punch me hard. He wasn't punching me. It was like, he was just defending the whole time. He had some good takedowns, but he was literally defending the whole time. And it was just such a weird fight, man. I was like, it was just weird, you know? I was really wanting that rematch. I was asking Bellator, please, man, I'll fight him in Russia. I don't care. Like, I just want this fight again, you know? And luckily or unluckily, he declined the rematch a couple times. So that sucked. But at the same time, I'm fighting a way bigger name, a way better guy who's actually going to bring the fight to me and going to make it an exciting fight. So everything happens for a reason, you know, and maybe down the line I'm going to be winning, and if Islam wins, you know, we might get that rematch someday, but as of right now I'm way happier with Benson for sure.
Yeah, focused on one goal, one guy. So obviously that's the 16th against Benson Henderson. And just outside of the gym, outside of fighting, outside of training, what are some things you like to do hobby wise?
Man, I'm a family man. I love my kids, hang out with my kids. I live in Oregon. There's so much hiking and rivers and lakes. I have a boat. I love to be outside. You know, it's like definitely one of my favorite things. And I'm also a big cannabis fan. You know, I used to grow medical marijuana for a bunch of patients. And sorry about that. No worries. But you know, I'm definitely a big medical marijuana fan. You know, I am into cannabis for sure. And I had my what do you call it? My card. My whole, I got my card so I could work at dispensaries and grow spots and stuff like that, you know. So I got a green thumb, man. I can grow some chronic, and it's definitely one of the things that I like to do for sure.
I'm on your side for that. This is my first year. I grew a couple plants, so we'll see. See how it tastes. Just to finish up, we do a between rounds segment. 1 minute. I'm going to ask you a question. You give me your best answers, rapid fire. Okay.
Let's do it.
What's your favorite cheat meal after a fight?
Man. Pizza. I'll probably say pizza and cake and ice cream. I have the biggest sweet tooth ever, man. So yeah, pizza and sweets.
If you've never been to Oregon like myself, what's a cool spot to check out if someone was going to visit there?
Oh man, there's so many cool hiking and lakes and Blue Pool and Crater Lake, and I would just say outdoors, man. There's so many cool things and beautiful places to hike and stuff for sure.
Favorite spot too, and I don't know if you have, but travel to.
To travel to. I went to Greece like a few years ago, and I've been to Hawaii and Mexico and a bunch of places, and I think Greece was it was amazing. You know, I loved Greece. It was so cool.
Greece was lightning.
Yeah, for sure.
What about favorite like TV series?
I really don't get into series. I try not to get into things where I have to watch it. I'm always training. I'm always doing things. But
What about a movie then?
Movie? Oh man, that's hard, dude. There's so many good movies out there. Like, man, one thing that I have been doing lately, whenever I'm cutting weight, I like watch the Food Network's channels like crazy, like Beat Bobby Flay, Chopped, all those. Like, I don't know why, but I'm like, I watch food channels and kill myself and fantasize and starve all the time.
There you go.
I don't get it.
That counts for something. And a couple of your favorite mixed martial artists of all time.
Oh man, always been a fan of let's see, GSP. I've always liked him. I like Khabib. I think Khabib's the man. I think he's a warrior inside and outside the cage. You talk crap about him and his family, his team, he's gonna get you. So yeah. I'm a big Khabib fan, man. I think he's cool. I think it'd have been so cool to train with him or even fight him one day. But I know he's retired. So, but I respect Khabib a lot. He's the man. Awesome.
Any sponsors, shout outs, or social media to finish up?
Yeah, man. First, Brent Primus 155 on Instagram. Look me up, and I got to thank Hayabusa. They hooked me up with the best gear out there, and Dr. Dabbers, and I'm sponsored by a bunch of dispensaries, and I'm sponsored by the coolest, Amazon Organics and Herbal Tribe, and thick ass glass. They just sent me this big, nice bong and everything.
Nice,
nice. Yeah, for sure. I can't like partake in smoke right now, but after my fight, it's on. So,
there we go.
Yeah, and Don Lewis Plumbing, and I always forget a lot of my sponsors. So, but I appreciate all you guys for sure.
Yeah, no worries. So thank you so much for your time. October 16th against Benson Henderson. We're really excited for that. Can't wait to see you get that W. Brent Primus, this is Hooks in MMA. Thanks so much, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Take care.
You too.
Next up on the Hooks in MMA podcast, we're lucky to have 11-8 lightweight. He's got a big fight coming up on a Bellator card coming up here on October 23rd. Patrik Pietila, how's it going today?
Yeah, it's going great, and thanks for having me.
No problem. We appreciate it. So just off the air, you just had mentioned today was a busy day for you. You had the Bellator Media Day. So how did that go for you? And how excited are you for the upcoming fight?
Yeah, it was really nice day today. We met all the fighters and stuff, and made some press conference and media stuff. So it was pretty nice, yeah. And about the fight, man, I'm so excited to get the fight finally. It's been like 2 years since my last fight. So now getting back in there, it feels amazing. And what a better way to make it back than fight like top 6 ranked guy in Bellator. So it's huge opportunity for me.
Yeah, it's going to give you a great opportunity moving forward here. So yeah, we're excited to see that fight. Just speak to, growing up in Finland, I guess, and right now you said I think you're in Moscow, correct?
Yeah.
Just how's that going, and why are you there? I'm assuming for training and for the upcoming fight.
Yeah. We are in Moscow now. We came here on Monday, and we had first of all the corona test and stuff like that, and some paperwork, and then we got 1 day off, and then started all the media stuff, and now we just tomorrow is the weigh-in, and then Saturday is the fight day. So
yeah,
soon I'm back to Finland.
Yes, and just growing up in Finland, what was that like, and what got you into MMA?
Well, living in Finland, I like it. First of all, everyone plays almost ice hockey there. So like everyone else, I started with ice hockey, and then I changed it to rugby. And it was 2012 when I started doing MMA. There was like beginners course, and I was like, maybe I should try that one. And then I started the MMA. So
awesome. Yeah,
it's not that long time I have been in the combat sport, but it's been a huge ride, huge opportunities and stuff.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
and you've gotten to Bellator, and you've gotten yourself a big fight coming up here. I'm Canadian myself, so I know a lot about the ice hockey, and I played rugby for a long time myself as well. So I've
Nice.
got some good things in common there. Yeah, so just your career thus far, you've been very successful. Worked your way through some smaller promotions, but obviously you got signed to Bellator. You've had one fight in the cage. How did it feel in 2019 to finally make a big promotion and give yourself an opportunity at a career like this?
Yeah, it was amazing. And even though it was like a short notice fight, it was like 9 days or something like that. I took the fight because, yeah, if you don't take any chances, you will never get anything. So
No.
it was great chance for me. And I still think and feel that I won first 2 rounds and lost the last one. So, man, I'm just so disappointed about that performance, because I felt that I did enough, but it wasn't enough. And I still feel like I had the gas tank there, like that I could press more gas, but I didn't, because I thought I don't want to take any extra risk, because I felt like I won first 2 rounds. But this time in Moscow, I won't do the same mistake. I will push him all 3 rounds if it goes full time.
Awesome. Yeah. And so that's on October 23rd, and you're fighting Usman Nurmagomedov, an undefeated, prospect that's 13-0. Obviously he's got a ranked number and a big name. What do you think about him, and how do you think you match up against him?
Yeah, he's a young, talented fighter, of course. Like, he used like karate taekwondo style fighting, like fast kicks and strikes. But if we look his previous fights, when he got pushed in the cage, he will start to make mistakes and move off from balance. So he doesn't strike so hard, and he is not that comfortable. So I need to be on him all the time. I can't let him just like kick and punch me and keep the good range all the time. I need to like push it like all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And the fighters are meant to lose eventually, usually, except for Khabib, Nurmagomedov, and a few other guys. But hopefully he'll get his first loss on that night. I know that this probably isn't like something you'd want to talk about, because you don't want any distractions. But like, is it kind of exciting just on the outside to fight on a Fedor card? Just knowing who he is in the sport, and what he's done throughout the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, they have a big like banners all over the Moscow, where it's like Fedor and few other guys, and then there's me, and I'm like, what like, how this even happened? Because I couldn't believe that Fedor still fights. So it's like really awesome to see him fight, and in the same event. It's like, it's huge. It's really nice.
Yeah, so I guess like a picture perfect night for you would be to get that W, give him his first 0, and then enjoy the Fedor fight after that. That sounds like a pretty good night to me.
Yeah.
Our last segment here is called Between Rounds. I'm gonna rapid fire a few questions for you. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of Finland?
Of course, my hometown, Lahti. That's my favorite part.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
I must say rugby.
Yes, like that answer. After a fight, what's like your favorite cheat meal?
That's bad one. It must be some like maybe cheesecakes and some good barbecue.
Who's your favorite Finnish hockey player of all time?
God damn it. I must say Teemu Selänne.
Okay, I'm not opposed to that, because I liked him growing up too, but I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, so I'm Saku Koivu all the way.
Yeah, Saku Koivu, yeah.
What's like a favorite kind of music you listen to?
Hip hop.
Hip hop. Favorite like movie or series that you watch?
I don't watch that much movies, but the latest James Bond was really good.
No, I heard that's really good, actually.
Yeah, yeah, it was great.
Nice. And what about a favorite couple of mixed martial artists of all time?
Favorite couple of
MMA fighters, like some of the guys that you maybe liked growing up.
Well, well, I started watching MMA when I 2012. So I must say, at the time there was John Jones, of course, but like few guys that I would like to fight who I watched back then is like Benson Henderson. So like after win over Usman, I'm going to try to get to fight Benson before he retires, because he was talking about retiring. So I hope he doesn't, and I hope I can fight like one of my like guys that I looked up.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. We actually talked to Brent Primus last week, and he got that big win over Benson. So maybe Benson's waiting for a guy like you to come in and challenge him.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah, and just any sponsors, shout outs, or social media before you finish up here.
Yeah, there is like a lot of Finnish like little companies that my friends have, though, so they support me all my career. So there's like Etelä-Suomen IV-huolto, Kari Rakenne, Puhdas Plus, and Twins Finland.
Awesome. Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think your English is pretty fantastic. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you
problem.
so much.
Yeah, so October 23rd against Usman Nurmagomedov. We got Patrik Pietila. We really appreciate your time, and we hope you get that W. Good luck, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me.
And this is Hooks in MMA. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, thank you.